welcome back to another reading vlog, and yet again we are doing another 24-hour readathon. I think by now you will know that every time I do a reading vlog it's going to be a readathon going on. But yeah, I'm doing a 24-hour readathon. It was supposed to be a 48-hour readathon, but I'm not going to do that. I had a 24-hour readathon planned for last weekend as my daughter was still at her dad's for Easter half-term holiday, but bless her, she got quite homesick, so she asked if she could come home early, so she ended up coming back Friday morning. So I didn't do my readathon because obviously she was back home and I was spending time with her, because a week being apart is far too long for us. So yeah, I was going to do a 48-hour readathon just to make up from that, and also because I got tons of books on my April TBR that I still haven't read and I've only got a week left. But I'm not doing it purely because I'm starting this readathon at 8 o'clock tonight, and if I did a 48-hour readathon it will go on till 8 o'clock Sunday night, and my daughter would be back from her dad's between 3 and 4 on Sunday, so it would be pointless because I wouldn't be reading once she's back home. And also I have been absolutely tired lately. I don't know why. I have been going to bed early, which is not like me. I've had lie-ins, I've been getting up at 10:30, 11 o'clock at the latest. You know, I'm having a 12-hour solid sleep, and it's not like I'm having a broken sleep either, which I usually do. I'm just sleeping non-stop. But I'm really tired, and I don't know whether it's because I'm struggling really badly with hay fever. I am a hay fever sufferer, but I haven't suffered for years. Like, I've been very lucky. Like last year my dad was awful, but I was absolutely fine, no problem at all. But this year both me and my dad are horrendous, and it's only in our back garden. Like, it's obviously something in our back garden that's setting us off, because I've been doing the school run, I've been going shopping, and my hay fever's fine. But in the garden my eyes are streaming, I'm sneezing non-stop, I have got a runny nose, like I can't wear makeup, not like I do now when it's summer. Well, it's not summer, it's spring, but when it's hotter I don't tend to wear a full face of makeup because it just runs, and I don't particularly want a brown body and a white face, that would just look silly. But so I haven't even been bothering doing like makeup. I have like a primer on and I have some like bronzer on, and that's it. And still now I'm like wanting to wipe my eyes. Yeah, I think it might be lax. My dad said he's really tired, more so when his fever's messing up. But yeah, so I didn't want to do a 48-hour readathon because I just knew I would struggle, and as much as it might help me get through my TBR, I'm just going to be too exhausted and it would just fail. So we're doing a 24-hour readathon, and like I said, it's going to start 8 o'clock tonight and then finish at 8 o'clock on Saturday. The reason why I'm starting it a bit later is purely because I've got a lot of things to do today before it starts, and I haven't done one before, so it'll be interesting. I don't know whether it's going to work because I seem to be better during the day reading rather than at night, but hey ho, that's how it goes. We'll see. On to what I am going to read. Usually I try and do like some sort of theme or plan for my readathons. I don't have a theme. I'm basically just reading books that I need to read because I need to. Well, we're going to be honest. My TBR has gone out the window. Apart from the books that I need to read for either book tours or book clubs or read-alongs with Tandem Collective, my rest of my TBR I haven't stuck with. So obviously you are aware I do my Go Fish TBR game. Apart from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, apart from 5 books that were in my Go Fish TBR game, the rest that were in it, and there was quite a few, I haven't bothered reading. When I do my wrap up I'll explain why. But yeah, so my TBR hasn't stayed the same. However, I have got a lot of books that I still need to read for tours and stuff like that, or library books. So that is what we're going to be focusing on today. So first book is Black Rock Bay by Briana Labuskas. I have read this. I am literally on chapter 17, page 203. So I literally have that much to read. I'm loving this, absolutely loving this, and I do not know where it's going to go because Brianna's crime thrillers are pretty much you never know who's done it. You don't. You're left guessing constantly, and even when you think, oh, maybe it's this person, you're completely wrong. I'm really enjoying it. I just haven't picked it up in the last week and a half. I just keep forgetting about it. Not purely because of the book or anything, but purely because I had other books that I needed to read because I had a tour spot with them. And so this is taking a back burner, but I really want to finish this because I want to know who the murderer was, what's gone on with the character Mia, because there's some sort of secret dark past that's gone on there. I need to know. So we are going to finish this, and if I don't finish it in this reading vlog, there is no hope. There's no hope. Next we have Black Wings Beating by Alex London. This is Faze and Gaze book club pick for this month. I haven't read much. I'm on chapter 2, page 30. I can't tell you my thoughts because I'm literally at the start. I'll tell you one thing, I'm completely confused. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is some bloke went to hunt for this big massive eagle and he ends up dying. That's all I know, and that was the prologue bit. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether I will finish this book in this vlog. However, I would like to make at least some dent. I wouldn't mind getting to the halfway point, which I've worked out is chapter 18. So if I can get halfway into this book, then next week I can just focus on the last half. And I do find with books, especially when they're at like the start of a series, that the first half of the book's always world building and getting to know the characters and the magic sort of side of things. So I think if I can get through that, then the second half of the book will be more fast paced because you would have got an idea of things. So yeah, I'm aiming to at least just read half of this book, so then I can power through the last half next week. Do not leave book clubs to the last minute. I will say that. I thought I'd leave it a bit closer to the end because last one I did in March, I read quite early on. Well, not early on, but I read it and I did my review and then I completely forgot about the book. And when the live show was on, there were things, like when they were talking about things, I went, oh yeah, and like because I couldn't remember. So don't leave it to last minute like I've done now, because now, as much as yes, I will probably be able to talk a lot about my feelings of the book in the live show, I am really squeezing it and pushing my luck. I also have Pretty Rude by Rebecca Elliott. Is Am I Really Pretty Rude for a Girl? This is a read along with Tandem Collective. I am currently on chapter 6, page 72. I do need to read yesterday's chapters and today's chapters, and then on Saturday I'll need to read Saturday's chapters. So I'm including this in here purely because you might see me read it, you might not, depending, but I do need to read some bits. It's alright. It's a YA and it's like a very young YA book to me. It's funny and I'm loving the humour side of things, but everything else I'm just a bit, ugh. I think I am a bit too old for this book. But it is just a funny book that, you know, I'm having a good laugh with it at least. But yeah, so I need to read, hopefully we'll try and read yesterday's and today's chapters before this readathon. And then I'll just read Saturday's chapters. We'll see, because at the moment I'm really busy and yeah, life's getting on. I then have Vanished by James Delagi. This is for a tour. I'm on chapter 7, page 21. It's very short chapters. I don't think I'm going to read finish this book. I'm not planning to finish this book because it's a honker. I want to at least make a bit of a dent. If I can get halfway through, that would be fab. But it's not my priority because I don't need to actually review it until Monday, and I can always review it like Monday evening. So I've still got quite a few days to read it. I want to make a dent in it because at the minute I'm a bit like nothing's really going on in the book. The characters that are involved I'm not vibing with at the minute, but I am still quite early on in the book. But I am intrigued because you're wondering why these characters have decided to go to a complete desert when where they originally were living was like, you know, a very posh made of money house. So something's obviously happened to make them flee. But at the minute I'm just not really enjoying it, but I am at the beginning of it. I then have 2 books that I have got from the library. I've renewed these books quite a few times now, but I do need to read them, and I know I'm not going to be able to read all of my library books in May because I have quite a busy May in regards to reading. So I wanted to try at least read these 2 books, so then I've only got 2 books to read. So first is The Blessed Girl by Angela McHolwa, I think. Basically, I have no clue what this book is about. It sounds like an easy, quick read, and I like the cover. It just feels very spring summery. So I'm going to focus on this and the other book that I'm going to show you in a minute for Saturday, because it's meant to be absolutely gloriously warm and sunny. So I think I might read this and this other book tomorrow in the sun. I might go to the field that's opposite my house. It's a massive big field, and sit there, or I might go to the rocky beach bit near the pier and sit there and just read and watch the waves. I haven't decided quite yet, but I'm going to read that. And then I've got Adults by Emma Jane Unsworth, which I've heard nothing but good about this book, so I'm very excited to get to read it. And yeah, I'm going to focus on this again for Saturday. So Saturday is going to be these 2 books that I'll be focusing on. The rest I'll try and focus on today. And then I have got some backup books should I be really struggling. I'm thinking, no, I can't. I've got a graphic novel and I've got a manga. So I've got Volume 1 of Tokyo Ghoul by Suey Ishida. Everyone is reading this series, everyone loves it, so I'm joining on the bandwagon because I want to see what the hype is. But I've already had a little quick flick through and it looks really good, so I'm quite excited for this. And then I've got this dear me, and then I've got Saga Volume 1 by Vaughn and Fiona Staples. Again, everyone is reading this series and loving it, so I'm joining in, and I absolutely love this. I don't really know much about it, but the graphics in this is just beautiful. So they're not going to take me long, so I might give myself a little bit of a break in reading and, like, you know, read a manga and then another break and read a graphic novel. We'll see. I also have a few Kindle books that I can read should I be like, I can't, if I'm too tired, and like lately I've been getting really bad headaches. I've got some Kindles I can read that are just a bit easier on the eyes. So I have got The Source, which is a crime thriller. It sounds amazing, to be honest. I can't wait to read it because it does sound really good. I've got Guild, which is a fantasy. I have got also an e-arc of book 3 in a series which I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put it here. I've got an e-arc of that I can read too, which is a romance, and I absolutely love the first 2 books, so I can't wait to read this book. So I've got some Kindles
should I want to read them. But yeah, that's the plan. If I stick to it is another question, but we're going to try. I know I am going to finish this. Whether I'll finish the rest of the books is another question, but at least one would be finished. Hopefully. If that fails, yeah, no, I'm going to give up. But yeah, that's the plan. And I will check in on you when I actually start this vlog, which will be at 8 o'clock. So I will check in with you then. So it's 1:30 at night. I have finished Black Rock Babe, Briana, Labuskas. It was absolutely epic. Didn't see any of that coming. I'm also questioning whether there was one or two killers at the end of the story. There were so many twists and turns. The cliffhanger at the end was, oh, it was perfect. I really enjoyed it and I'm glad I finally finished it. I also started a bit more of Black Wings Beating. I am currently on chapter 7, page 97. So I was just on to start chapter 2. I'm enjoying it. It is picking up now, but I'm not gonna lie, the world building about the falconry and things like that is quite confusing because I don't know a lot about it. You're sort of trying to remember everything to understand, but at the same time you're not understanding. It's quite confusing, but I am enjoying it. It's good and I don't want to put it down, so that's a good thing. I also read and finished Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1. What a bizarre but an original manga. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very fast paced, very interesting, and yeah, I really liked it, and I'm definitely going to continue with that series because I want to know what happens. But yeah, so I've currently read 2 books, which is good. I am now gonna go and head and get some sleep because I'm exhausted and I know if I try and stay up even longer I'm gonna struggle. So I'm gonna go and head to sleep and I'm gonna set my alarm for 7:30 in the morning and then I'll wake up and continue reading. So I'll catch up with you sometime tomorrow. Hello, good afternoon. And yes, I have my legs out. It's an absolute glorious day outside and it's warm. I'm quickly popping on because I thought I would do, sorry my neck got caught, a quick book update since I last left you when I went to bed. So
I slept brilliantly. Literally, I did my bedtime routine, which was about 5 minutes at the most, and my head touched the pillow and I was out like a light. I was gone, and I did not wake up or move or toss and turn or anything until my alarm went off at 7:30. I had a blissful sleep, and I haven't had one of those in a long time, so I feel very energized today, which is a first. But yeah, I set my alarm at 7:30 and I actually woke up. Guys, this is a big thing. I woke up without snoozing my alarm and going back to sleep. I woke up when my alarm went off, I turned it off, I stayed awake. This is a rare thing. It's very rare. But yeah, so I did that. I was really proud of myself. So yeah, I didn't like get up. I stayed in bed, but I did some reading. Now, because I was slowly waking up, I didn't particularly want to go straight into reading a book. So I did pick up Saga Volume One. I started it and finished it. Absolutely loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I think I prefer this series more to Tokyo Ghoul because I preferred the characters in this. I just like them. It's got that fantasy and sci-fi element that I love, which helps. And yeah, it's got like a lot of fighting and killing in it, but there is this underlying humour in here that, regardless of what's going on, I was left chuckling a couple times throughout this book. But I really like Alana and Marco. I think they are a fantastic couple and badasses, and the fact that, you know, they do not want to kill or fight, they just want to live quietly and peacefully. Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and the graphics, illustrations are amazing. I really enjoyed this. I'm definitely gonna get more of the books in the series because I want to know what happened. So I read and finished that, and then I did pick up Black Wings Beating again. I am on chapter 13, page 161. So I'm reading quite a bit now of it. It is picking up. I am certainly wanting to read more to work out what's going on, but it's a very world building and descriptive, which I don't usually mind, but this is a bit too heavy for me. There are a few times where I'm a bit like, do we really need this? And so I'm a bit like, ugh, like there's times where I feel like I want to skim and just get to like the dialogue part. I also am finding like the falcon talk and all of the birds of prey and all of that sort of history of it. It's fascinating, but I don't understand it, and I feel like I need a notepad and write everything down to remember it. But it's picked up, there's stuff going on now, and I'm sort of like, okay, I want to know what's happening, which is good, because if I didn't want to like pick up and read this book, I'd be worried. So yeah, I'm on chapter 13. I did work out that chapter 18, which is here, will be the halfway point. So I am going to pick this up a little bit later and read the 5 chapters that I have left to get to chapter 18, and then I would have hit the halfway point. And then hopefully when I pick this up over the weekend and during next week, it will be a bit more faster paced, because I think we will get to the nitty gritty of things rather than all of the world building. But I am enjoying it. It is picking up. It's just, there are some faults. It is literally just getting to midday. I am going to make myself some lunch and eat it, and then I am going to head out. I'm going to take both the blessed girl and adults with me, because I am going to go and head out and enjoy the sun. As much as I have a garden and I can sit out there, it's just sometimes nice to have a bit of a different scenery. So I am going to pop out and just chill out at the field and probably at the beach. I'm going to show you what I mean. I will do some vlogging of it anyway, but I'll show you what I'm on about so you get a rough idea. So as you can see, I live right opposite this field, And if you can see, if I zoom in a bit, there's sea there, and move over a bit. Over in this bit here, you can't see because it's not the tree and everything's in the way, but over in that bit there, we have the pier, and next to the pier is like a beach. The beach is not like a beach, it's not a sand beach, it's like a rock beach, but it's a proper sun trap, and literally you sit there and you've got the sea. It's beautiful. It's such a scenic spot, and it is a sun trap. So I'm gonna head over to the field after I've had my lunch and chill there, because my mum wants to come and join me and read with me. So I'm gonna sit in the field so she can find me, and then we're gonna walk to the beach, and hopefully there will be a spot for us to sit and grab. But yeah, that's the plan. As you can tell, this is like a different spot. It's not my room, it's my daughter's room. But yeah, that's the plan. That's what I want to do. I'm going to bring those 2 books, and I'm going to start with The Blessed Girl. Depending on how long we're out for and how quickly I read it, I might finish it and start adults. That's why I bought both, just in case. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to go and grab some lunch, and the next time I will see you will be a little bit later. Which means it's the end of my 24-hour readathon. I had a really good time with this readathon. Not like I don't with any of my others, but I just felt more chilled and relaxed in this one, and I enjoyed myself more. I don't know whether it was because I was out in the sun and I absolutely love being out in the sun, or whether it was just because I sort of did not have much pressure in me, because I know my reading's been quite awful for this month. So I sort of thought, you know, even if I just complete 1 book, that's fine. That means there's 1 book off my TBR that I need to read. So I just felt calmer. But considering I wasn't expecting to read much, I did read a couple of books. So I managed to read 4 books, and yeah, so I'm going to start with my books that I read and just give you quick thoughts. So I finished reading Black Rock Bay by Briana and Labuskas. I only had a little bit, like I didn't have overly much to read, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. I am never disappointed with Brianna's work. Like I always find how she does her crime thrillers, how fascinating she does it. Like she leaves little breadcrumbs of like subtle clues that you think are clues, and you sort of start picturing who the suspect could be, who the murderer is. But every book I have read of hers, it is never that person you think. You're literally in the last 2, maybe 3 chapters where it's revealed, and I have always been jaw dropped because I didn't expect it, and I was certainly with this. I kept thinking it was one person, and after a while I thought, no, like it's too obvious. It is too obvious that he would be the suspect. And then certain things are going on, and I thought, oh, could it? And then there was other things I thought, no, it's not. And yeah, it literally happened within the last 3 chapters of this book, and I was like, oh! And it, like, by this point, like, everything was unraveling. But on top of that, there was like a killer, but there was also, so there's 2 stories in this book. So there's Mia Hart's past. So something happened at Black Rock Bay, and it's always haunted her, and basically it was a suicide of her friends. She was the only one who was alive, basically. So it was always deemed suicide, but the person who was found murdered at Black Rock Bay was starting to unravel the mystery of this suicide, and he believed it was more than actual suicide. He believed it was actually murder. So it all sort of interlinked, and obviously while Mia, the detective, was investigating, all of these things were coming alight about what went on in her past. Her detective colleague obviously was a little bit worried because she was like sort of hearing these things. She was thinking, is there more to what Mia's letting on, and things like that. And so basically you find out who the killer is, but you also find what actually really happened in Mia's past. And I was absolutely shocked at the revelations of that. And it sort of made me think, are there 2 killers, or is it still this one killer who is very clever and gets other people to do their work rather than getting their hands dirty? It was really clever. I absolutely loved this, and I have one more book of hers that I am definitely going to get into, because every time I read this book I am just on a wild ride, and I like thoroughly enjoy it. And then I read Tokyo Girl Volume 1 by Suey Ishida. I did enjoy this. Oh, by the way, Black Rock Bay was 5 stars. Sorry, I didn't do the rating. I did enjoy this, but I don't know. I wasn't thoroughly invested with the character Ken. I just felt he was a bit of a weenie, whiny person, and I liked the storyline of it. Like, it was a different take to a zombie book in my eyes. I love the illustrations, and it's like a very easy read. I just wasn't really overly bothered by Ken's character. I didn't really care for him. However, how the manga goes, I do want to know what happens. Like, I am invested in the series, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite. Like, I do want to read the series to find out how his character grows, if it gets any better and things like that. But yeah, I can see why a lot of people like it. I'm just not 100% sure whether it's just this book and whether as I go into the series I love it more or what. Like, I will probably get the second book and try it, but if I'm still thinking then probably won't continue the series, because I'm not going to put myself through it if I'm not really invested in it. But yeah, I'm on the fence with it. There were some good bits. I just wasn't overly bothered by the character, and I always find if I'm not vibing with the character, sometimes I don't really care for them in the book, so I don't want to continue reading how their journey goes. I also read Saga Volume 1. Now this I enjoyed. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I absolutely love the graphics and the graphics illustrations. You know, it's fantasy, sci-fi, which are genres that I do enjoy and love. I absolutely loved these two characters. I've forgotten their names now. Adele, isn't it? Yeah, Adele and Marco. I just love their characters. I love their relationship. I love their dynamics. I love that the fact that they just wanted peace. They just wanted to live in a quiet place without fighting, and just wanted to live their lives and grow old together. You know, it was nice. They just wanted peace, but obviously there's two worlds at war. Peace ain't happening. I also like the narration. So obviously the narration is of their daughter Hayley, and I kind of trying to work out while I was reading this whether Hayley is like a baby, whether Hayley's grown up, like is this Hayley's story of her demise, or is this her story of her living? It made me sort of question, like, is she alive, is she dead, or but I really enjoyed this, the like plot and everything. Yeah, this is a series I definitely want to continue because I really enjoyed it, and I do think as I get onto the series I will enjoy it more and probably rate it higher. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I can see why there's such a hype with this one. And then the last book that I finished, that wasn't planning to finish, but I did, was Black Wings Beating. So I was aiming to get a halfway point, which mid-afternoon I did, but I couldn't end it. It was literally just things were kicking off, and I was like, no, I need to know. So I actually continued reading it, and I literally finished reading this at 7:30. I enjoyed it. It did pick up. It has got 4 stars. It definitely doesn't have 5 stars. And I'll give you the reasons why. I thought the queer representation was I feel like if they were going to do it, they shouldn't have done it the way they did in this book. In this book, I felt very much like the two boys' relationship was completely wrong. Like Bryson, one of the twins, he was thoroughly in love with this other boy, and this boy basically treated him like shit. And I kind of felt like, right, like with Bryson's past, does he sort of look for sort of things like that because of how he's been brought up, the abuse he's been through, and it does mess with your head. But it wasn't an actual relationship in my eyes. It was certainly a one way in the whole with love and romantic feelings. The other one, pretty much, there was one bit where he literally bet on his boyfriend. He bet on his boyfriend to lose, all for money. And I just this was like the start of this book, and I was like, no. And the fact that in this story, everything that was going on was for Bryson to save his boyfriend, and his boyfriend absolutely did not give a shit. And I was just like, no. And I just felt if they were going to do a queer relationship, to at least make it, compared to everything that's going on in the book, make that bit nice, because there was a lot of stuff going on that was very deep and dark and not very nice. And it wasn't even much of it. There were hints, and there were hints where they weren't really in a relationship. To me, it was more, comfort, getting like some instant release sort of thing. Like, yes, Bryson loved him, but like I think deep down he knew maybe it wasn't reciprocated. It was just, I felt that didn't really need to happen in this book. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't a happy thing. I kind of felt, well, why was it in there? Like, I'm here for queer representation. I want more books to have that. But if you're going to do it, especially when the book's quite dark, at least make that little bit happy and like, a reason why they did this quest in the first place. Also, lucky enough there wasn't much of it, because I think if there was a lot of it, it would have become quite problematic, and I would have felt more uncomfortable. But I felt descriptions for the people of colour quite rude and not needed. So all of the white characters, no description, they were just white. but there was a description here of a black character. I don't know whether... where it is. Where is it? I did fold it down, but I folded up a bit. I can't find it. There was just a description bit of here of this person of colour, and it was like a thoroughly of their colour and all this, and I thought, you don't need that. And to me that sounded quite discriminative to coloured people, and I think if this was continued throughout the book it would be quite problematic, but it only happened once, so I noticed it and I'm raising that point, but I'm glad it wasn't continued, because if it was continued throughout the book I would probably be like, right, I don't think this is right, it isn't right, but I would be more like... Other than that, I enjoyed it. I feel like what I can say is get past the slow pace at the beginning. If you get past that and you get to the halfway point, I promise you everything kicks off, everything happens, and you are constantly not wanting to put the book down because you want to know what's going to happen. You know, with all fantasy books that are a series, they do have the world building description bit. With me, I felt this was a bit too much. It was too descriptive, it was too information dumping, and I think it could have reeled back a bit. The bits that they talked about in regards to the history of the war and the history of birds, yes, it was fascinating and it was done well, and you know for well the author's done his he's done his investigating and learnt things and made sure, you know, he's put his own spin on it, but like, you know, it's true facts in some ways. But I felt it was too much of it, and I do think the one bit that should have probably been talked about more and the history of it more was the oh god, I've forgotten what it's called now, that's gonna annoy me. Wait a minute, I have the hollow tongue, which is the ancient gift that Kylie has. It does say it in the blurb, so it's not a spoiler. I think the hollow tongue should have been talked about more, the background of it, what it is, what happens with it and all that, because, you know, it was there and there are select few who have got it, but there wasn't much background of it, and I thought, well, with everything, that should have had more background. But I did enjoy it. I specifically love Kylie. She is the sister of who is twin. I liked her. She was a badass. There's so many things I love about her. Bryson was one where I was a bit like, I didn't care for. I felt bad for him, especially with his past and his abuse. But I did feel like he was following his father's footsteps, which wasn't brilliant because his father's the one who was an arsehole and was abusive. And I just felt like he wasn't helping himself, and it was all himself, all selfishness. He didn't care for his sister. He was quite rude to his sister at times, and there were times where I felt he was actually flinging quite a bit of emotional abuse at her. And he never had an idea. He just went guns blazing and everything and didn't care about the commotion or how many other people are going to get hurt. It was just, oh, I'm going to do this, I want to be a hero. And yeah, I didn't really care for him, but I did enjoy the book, and I do want to read book 2 because I am curious to know what happened. I obviously have read some of these. I had to DNF this. I did not care for it. I'm not even going to go into why I didn't care for it. It was not my book. There are obviously certain things in books, like book traits, that I don't like, and book traits in this I certainly did not like. I did start a bit of this because I took both books, which I'm glad I did when I went to the beach. I did get up to page 51. There's no chapters, but I got to page 51. I do like it, but it touches on things that I'm not overly keen on. So I've said before that I don't mind little bits about social media, but I don't particularly like it when it's very social media heavy, influencing and like about filters and watches this, because to me, like, I was reading this, I'm not 100% if it's an adult book or a young adult book, but I was reading this and I felt a little bit uncomfortable because I felt like some of the things that were being said kind of made you... I'm always a believer to be true to yourself and be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I put a filter on my Instagram pictures of me, you know, I do Snapchat, put filters on, you know, but I am still honest through it. And I just didn't like that throughout this book it was sort of about her trying to prove to her Instagram life that she was perfect, that she's living a perfect life, but inside actually she's an anxious mess. She has nothing planned out, she's got no like proper brilliant job, things like that. Like, it's funny and that's what kept me going 50 pages, but I don't think I'm going to continue reading it, because as much as I want to sort of know what happens to the character, I don't care for her, and I just think the social media type of things can be quite toxic, especially if young women read this and they're in a vulnerable place. This kind of stuff that was being said in this kind of would make them even more vulnerable, in my opinion. So yeah, we read 4 books. I had a fun, relaxing, calm time. I enjoyed myself. I absolutely loved reading next to the beach. It was an absolute sun spot. I was basking in the sun. I have burnt my legs a little bit, but hey ho. But yeah, I really enjoyed this readathon, and I'm glad I managed to at least read 2 books that were on my TBR. I can now tick off and say I've done it. But yeah, thank you for watching this reading vlog, and please give me any comments if you have any thoughts about the books I've read, or about the other 2 books that I did read but don't like, you know, anything. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.